All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ethanimale 2. And today we are watching the third episode of Eradication Live Season 3. This just came out last night. I've been waiting to watch it until now. Not going to explain everything again, but basically, right when we left off, or where we left off last time, Maximo, the person I wanted to work with the most, had just gone home. And now we are entering the final 10. And it is time to react and reflect. So I'm just going to start it right away. Make myself a little smaller.
Welcome back, Final 10, and the game continues.
I guess I'll move to the bottom.
Here we go. You must create 4 factions of 2. But wait a minute. There's enough room for 5 of them, right? This is the classic overload twist. If 5 factions of 2 are successfully created, you all enter the riot. And it's a 10-person riot to see who goes home in 10. But
So right off the bat, he says that, if 5 factions of 2 are successfully formed, everyone goes into the riot. I'm not worried about that at all. A 10-person riot, that is extremely, that's 90% odds of surviving. And we don't even know what the competition is. So I know some people, obviously, they didn't want there to be a riot. I didn't mind. I think a 10-person riot, I shouldn't be too scared to go into something like that.
if you can maybe trick some of your friends into submitting the wrong thingy, then you could make 4 factions of 2 and then be safe. So it's up to you how you want to play this round.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to pause and cut off his explanation. But if, say, you were actually very scared about going into a 10-person riot, what you could do is try to convince, 2 people. Like, say, I, over here, I'm very nervous about going in. So I try and convince, Dante and Jess to faction together. But then I also try and convince Modern to faction with Dante. You can try and make it so that somebody flubs up their faction. So then instead of it being a 10-person riot with everybody, it is only a 2-person riot or 3 or however many of just the people that mess up, and you would be safe. I did not feel like it was necessary to try and do something like that, especially because, like I said, I don't think it's that scary to go into a 10-person riot where only 1 person goes home. I did not feel that it was necessary or good to... Again, this is still really early in the game. It started with 12 people. There's still 10 people left. I did not feel like I needed to come across as this super sneaky hard player just to avoid this riot. It didn't seem necessary or a good thing. But there may have been other players that wanted to do something like that. I have no idea because I haven't seen their perspectives. So that's what we're about to watch right now.
Access is granted to still all 4 rooms. However, there's now a room limit of 3. Room limit of 3. So, only 3 people in a room at a time. You must return to the courtyard in 7 minutes. Got some time. Your time starts now.
Oh,
Go
Dante.
Dante! Go Dante! Ooh. Go Dante!
Hello?
Hi, Hudson.
Hello?
Taylor, please don't send me back.
VC,
Taylor.
Oh, is it just
Ooh,
us?
V-cut.
Okay, perfect. This is great. This is great. Oh my god.
I don't know why I was already talking. Maybe... I think... I don't actually know if this is true. It shows we're going in and I'm already speaking. What I'm assuming is happening is that I jumped in a call and then Jess joined, and then before anybody could join, I was already like probably trying to say like, hey, why don't like you and I just faction up? But Jess is from Australia, and I don't think she had the greatest connection, so it may have taken her like 5 seconds or so to actually connect, but I didn't realize that, so I was probably talking to her and she wasn't getting any of it.
Here's my thing I don't want to do right now.
I want to say that initially when we got into the group, I thought it was going to be Yumi and like Hannah were going to do it because we've been like OG since the beginning. And then when they just came in, I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry.
I understand, and I have no hard feelings. I literally have no one in this game. The only person that has actually talked to me in this game just got sent out the door. I'm asking for a chance.
Do you want to be a faction of 2?
100%. You know what? Just because you came down here right away and that was so exciting intro, 100%. Let's do it.
I'm assuming that we are going to end up with 5 groups of 2. So I would love to just pair up and then...
I was literally thinking, I was like, I want to pair up with you. So.
That's pretty good. But yeah, I figured. Also, we had 7 minutes, which is a lot of time. Room limits are not nearly as restricting at this time because, I mean, it's only groups of 2, and you can have up to 3 people in a room. So, very fast, I think it was going to become apparent. Like, Hana and Hudson are a pair. Jess and I just paired up. Like, it was very clear who was going to pair up. So, for example, Dante comes in here. It's not going to take Dante very long to figure out, like, oh, you're factioning together? Let me go find somebody else. So, in my head, I always thought there's going to be 5 groups of 2 that form. It's naturally going to work out like that.
Oh, thank you, Jess.
I think I need to split.
Make it like I know we're like close to each other, but I think we should bring in other people. Yeah.
Let me try Cafe.
Yeah, so I'm just asking for a chance from someone to be part of their faction. Please don't send me in again.
Honestly, I'm not gonna interfere. I just came in because VC, I wanted to apologize to putting you in that situation. I know you really needed me to kind of like separate from there, and I know seeing kind of like the fact that Dante and Hudson admitted that they wanted to be with each other and they're gonna group up now and be safe with each other. I understood that.
From last episode, I know it's been a while, but we talked about how very visible Dante and Hudson were. And for what it's worth, I had yet to talk to either Hudson or Dante, and I didn't have anybody telling me really stuff either, and I still had the hunch that those 2 were together. And that's without knowing anything. Everybody else knows, so it's very clear that those 2 are working together. So it's, very interesting. Right, as soon as the next episode starts, Dante and Hudson are already being talked about as a very public duo.
I just kind of wanted to confirm be safe with those 3 because I felt like since we had been there since the beginning, it was kind of like a safer option for me.
Hello. I'm just trying to.
Hi, Miles.
Hello.
I'm just hopping around.
Oh, hi, Dante.
Oh, hi, Dante. I haven't met you yet.
Hi.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hadn't spoken to Dante or Hudson yet. Or I also hadn't spoken to Hana or Taylor. But that was intentional in the beginning because I didn't want to be seen as the person that was hopping around to everybody. I think jumping from call to call in the beginning, and like everyone can see, like we're in a Discord, but on the left side of all of our screens, we can see a list of all the rooms and who is in each room. So like I could see Dante and Hudson were in the same room for a lot of time. I could see that Taylor and Hana were in the same rooms a lot of the time. So even if you're not in the room, you can see who's in the room. And I didn't want to be seen as a person that was constantly jumping around rooms and trying to establish all these connections. Like you don't need 9 connections at this point. If there's 10 people, I don't need to be best friends with 9 people. I need to be friends with 3 or 4, because that's what these faction mandates are. You just need a solid set of people that you can trust, and it is way better to have a super solid group of 3 than a like budding, somewhat working relationship with 9, but not necessarily being like ride or die with any of them. I think it's a lot better to have ride or dies than like quality over quantity 100% here.
Nice to meet you.
You guys are a pair.
You could
Luckily,
talk to Noah.
there's gonna be enough. I think we're gonna have a 10-person
Yeah.
riot. I think that'll be fun.
If you want, yeah, I feel like it's gonna happen, but you could always talk to Noah because he's by himself.
I don't like this. I'm all alone. I'm too pretty to be alone right now, Twitch.
Noah was very funny. Noah definitely, you could tell that Noah has done a lot of these because Noah has like the talk down.
Okay.
We might have to each other because I'm hoping Ethan and Jess are together in the other call. Hannah and Hudson are together, which is interesting. The girls aren't together.
I
Worst comes to worst, well, we'll see. How much time do we have? 5 minutes?
I don't know. You obviously don't have anybody.
No, did anyone approach you?
No, but you're the only one I've talked to.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Do we
I don't
need each
think-
other?
Probably because we're not gonna see how like each of
But
us can
here's-
get another person.
Here's the thing. I think Dante and Hudson are doing what we're trying.
Yeah, so like how Hante, ignore me. Dante and Hudson were the very public duo. Noah and Miles were becoming that, and they didn't want that. However, it doesn't seem like they're finding much success in splitting up. I'm trying to think who even still needs. It's so tough. Like, it goes by so fast. Like I said, we got 7 minutes, which is a long time. Hannah and Hudson, Jess and myself, and I mean, Noah and Miles could have, but like we're all established within 15 seconds of the start. Like it was very not fluid. So if you're trying, like Miles and Noah come in and they have the right idea that we probably shouldn't pair together right now because it's going to be obvious that like we've factioned together the first 3 times. But there's just not enough people that were free agents at this point. Like already right off the bat, 4 people were like solidified, which only leaves, other than Miles and Noah, or there's only 4 other people. And if one of them solidifies, then there's only 2 people. Like there's not that many opportunities to like split up and cover or like hide your game relationship. So it is really good for Dante and Hudson that they were able, well, just Hudson. I don't know what Dante has going because Dante was just in a call with Jess and I. But them splitting up is definitely good for them. And it's unfortunate that Miles and Noah could not pull off the same thing. But like, I don't blame, I'm not like, oh man, what an awful game move that they might not be able to pull it off. It's just, there's not the numbers to do it.
Because they've been openly on
Yeah,
every
it seemed like
call.
Hudson went
Like,
to Hannah, and now they're on the call. Now they're together. They
Yeah.
have to go. If there's any chance we can like go rogue with them, I know it's a move.
I'm gonna go cafeteria.
Yeah, every single person I've tried to be friends with in this game was sent out. All I'm asking for is a chance from anyone. Whoever says it first can be in a faction with me.
I would love to. So I'm just saying right now,
Like, literally what I was just saying. It's so easy for them to just form, and it's hard to infiltrate. Noah tries to join, and he joins in on 2 of the people, 2 of the 4 free agents. So, these pairs are forming so fast.
we want to kind of give you that chance. So
Thank
if you want to write each other's names, I can do that right now.
I will do it right now. Please don't be tricking me. Please don't send me back. Please.
I promise I am not. I'm gonna try and give you this chance.
Thank you.
As witness, y'all 2 better behave. I am not here to put anybody in timeout.
Nice to meet you, Dante. You seem to have a wild ride so far. So
Yeah. I thought I was done in the cups. And
Yeah, those cups are like hard. I'm
yeah,
glad I
and,
wasn't.
the first round, I guess, or the round that we went into the cups for, I had that group, and then I forgot to vote on time. So I just had that-
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I still had no idea what happened in that first round. To my knowledge, the first round was only supposed to be a 2-person riot, but 7 people went in. So I did not know what happened. Now it's obvious that Dante just didn't get the names right. Like, Dante was in a group of 5, but couldn't remember the 5 because it's the beginning. It's chaotic. He can't remember names. So I didn't realize that Dante was the one that messed up. And it was like good to know this at this point, because in my head it was totally possible that there was a snake. There was somebody that was playing very tricky right off the bat. So to know that it was actually just a simple mistake made it feel a little bit like, I was bummed because I think it's more fun that way, but it felt better because I didn't have to be worried about a super game player playing so hard so early on.
Wait,
That's
so,
so fun.
oh,
That,
Alright, let me
do you
jump
guys
in with
think?
Miles. Let me see if I can.
Okay.
I don't know what to think about Maximus leaving. I think he's a little upset that like he was the expendable one of our group, but honestly he was a little too late. And honestly, I was closer to Ethan and Noah, so.
Hey.
Hi.
That's good for me.
Anybody need a partner?
Yeah, I do.
I think I'm with Noah,
You're with Noah.
but he wants to talk to others, so you two should go together then.
You think? Alright, so
Yeah.
Taylor, you wanna go with me?
Sure, because last person I talked to was he, but he's really chatting it up with Modern and Noah, so I feel a little nervous. I mean, Dante, I'll put your name down. So.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
I was saying, I'm hoping that somebody else does like the sneaky conniving thing, you know, so that way we don't.
I know. I
overload
did leave that to
Xboxes.
someone else.
Because,
I don't want to do
exactly, because I just want to be like set, ready to go.
that. Yeah, go over there.
I'm so thank you, Modern. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Hopefully, be safe.
Of
for
course, VC.
everyone.
I low key think that we're gonna get 5 factions too, and that we're all gonna go into the riot.
Totally off topic. I had no idea. Modern was playing really well. Like, and he was like explaining himself in his confessionals super well, and I had no idea just like how, I mean, I just said this, but like I had no idea how well Modern was playing. Modern is like, he's got his toes dipped in a lot of different pools. He's got connections everywhere, but it's not coming across like Modern is like this big threat. Like, he's doing it in a very smart and like it doesn't put like there was no red flag on Modern. It's like, oh, like Modern's talking to everybody, like you better watch out for him. Like, no, it felt very natural, and I definitely commend Modern. I had no idea how well he was playing in these rounds.
Whenever Jonah left, he said there are like snakes and stuff in the group, and like I don't know who he was talking about, but that made me nervous because like the first 4 that we were talking with were like me, Jonah, BC, and Taylor, and so like and we straight up didn't have a 5th.
You know Taylor and Hannah?
Hannah, yeah.
Yeah. They were like, oh, do you want to bring some people in so we could like make a little group, you know, that we're all kind of like solid with each other? And I like really liked them, you know, they're really nice. And I was like, oh, we could bring in like you and I don't know, I was thinking I was gonna say Maximo, but he's here.
I'm so sad that Max
I know,
went.
I
I
liked
did not
him.
want to. I didn't want to exclude him.
I felt so
Not to
bad
throw
for
the others
him,
under the bus,
and especially to lose to a luck challenge is like, that's rough.
I know.
That
And
sucks.
never had anything going his way. But about Taylor and Hannah, I haven't met Hannah, but I would definitely be interested in something like that. I think that would be
Yeah.
super cool.
I will say one.
I don't know how many people know this. I was 100% ready to jump over to that side. Jess, Hannah, and Taylor, especially since once Maximo left, I knew it was just like myself, Miles, and Noah. and I had to make a decision for these upcoming rounds. Like, you can't just play every round in the moment. I can't just be like, oh, final 10 faction with Jess, sit back, let's move on to the final 9. There, you have to be thinking ahead, and I was looking at it, and I was like, Maximo was the person that I was like closest to on my side, and he just left. This is my opportunity. I'm talking with Jess right now. Jess kind of puts an offer on the table, and I am 100%. I'm like, I'm down, and I meant it. I was ready to not fully like throw Miles and Noah to the sharks, but in my head, this was a perfect segue for me to branch out. I already had a game relationship with Jess. If Jess could bring me in with Taylor and Hana, that is now 4 people, and I have a good relationship with Noah and Miles. But this gives me better numbers. And if I could then eventually make some sort of hybrid alliance of the 3 girls, bring in Noah and Miles, that gives us 6 people, which is the majority. And this felt like a very natural and safe way to get this started. My whole strategy, and I said it in my intro package, is that in the beginning, I didn't want to be like commandeering these numbers. I didn't want to be the one that was building the forces so early on in such a visible way. But in the mid game is when I wanted to really rally the troops. And this felt like the perfect opportunity to start that. Go with Jess, make a game relationship with the girls, like that, those 3 girls, bring in Noah and Miles, and that is a group of 6 that would have control of the numbers and be the majority going into the middle stage of the game, which is what I thought was very important. So I guess when I say that I was ready to jump ship from Noah and Miles, it was more so like I was ready to jump ship and then go back and bring them in as well. But I didn't want to do it all at once, and I didn't want to do it in a way that was very out there and obvious, but this felt like the perfect way to like plant the seeds and set up for something like that.
Thing, Taylor, VC is not a fan of the girls. He came into my room saying that y'all kicked him out.
I love that Miles did this. This is so great. I had no idea he was doing it. I didn't talk to Miles. But this is a perfect chaotic plant seed. Just put it out there. I mean, VC is already out on an island of his own, but this, being a free agent is so dangerous because you get pulled in. Like, that's just a number for whatever side can pull you in. So Miles is doing a good job here of trying to make it so that VC isn't a number that they can pull in. Cause some disarray, some warring sides. And I had no idea he did this, but I'm glad he did.
I was in there with Hannah, DC, because I got joined, and then Jess came in and was like, let's save the girls. And then Hannah jumped on and like, who's gonna be an idiot and be like, well, if that's already a solid 3, like, and then DC
Well, was it like, did y'all like say leave, or did y'all say like work together? That's what he made it seem like. He made y'all like the mean girl bullies. I don't know.
Miles isn't lying. VC did say this. VC came into our group and was like, yeah, the girls basically kicked me out. So it is not that Miles is lying. He's just spreading true information. But, he's tactically spreading it. He's not just like, oh, hey, I just wanted you to know out of the goodness of my heart. There's definitely a game behind it. But I liked it.
You were stressed out, I think.
No, then that makes me feel like less. So like, no, like I mean, then Dante, like I'm definitely gonna be your partner.
Because me and Jonah got along like that, right? Me and Maximo got along like that, and then every single time it was taken away from me, always with the person that I would never want to be against. I have no loyalties. I'm the only loyal to the people who let me be safe for once. I just want a chance. That's all I can do.
I'm rooting for you.
You all now have 1 minute to submit your faction, and your time starts now.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's not looking good, to be honest. I think everyone might.
Do y'all really want to put your partner at risk like that?
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I think someone should just take the bullet.
We won't be mad at you as long as you're.
No,
Yeah.
please,
As
not
long
me.
as I'm not the one getting screwed.
I was shot 2 times. Do we need a third?
Actually, you know what? I'll make this offer. To the
Time
duo
is-
that berserks.
So sorry. So sad. We're gonna go ahead and reveal whatever factions there were. There was.
So in my head, I'm pretty positive that there is going to be 5 successfully formed factions. So instead of everyone being safe, everyone is in danger, everybody goes into the riot.
At least one faction created. Oh, I think specs are wondering what a berserk is. Berserk is if you do not submit a faction, you say I berserk, which essentially means no matter what, you're not submitting a faction, you're going into the riot. So anyone relying on you to make a faction with them also goes into the riot. It's just a little bit of terminology for eradication if you just end up not submitting anything, or if you willingly don't submit anything. But we still have some factions to cover. So, faction was created of Miles and Noah. You are in the top 9 unless 4 other factions.
Yep, so they could not, they had to show their card. Like, this is 3 times in a row that they faction together. So in a sense, it does show their cards.
Factions are successfully formed. Speaking of factions successfully formed, we have one with Ethanimale, and yes, you two created a faction together. We have another faction consisting of Modern and BC. You two are in a faction together. 4 players left. And there was a faction created. Taylor and Dante. You two grouped up together. That leaves Hana and Hudson. You two will be in the riot. The question is, with everyone or as a duel? There was a 5th faction successfully created.
Yeah, everyone was able to group up together successfully. That means it's a 10-person riot. And my first riot. I didn't go into the first 2. So I was kind of like, I wasn't scared of going into the riot. I definitely would not have wanted to go into that second riot, the rock, paper, scissors, one. That one I would have been scared to go into. But this one, it was, it was almost exciting. It was like, finally, I get to do something other than just talk. I can, like, do whatever competition it is.
Hana and Hudson. It was funny because I saw 3 people at the same time go. So, time for your 3-person riot. This one is called Cranium Calculation. Let me go ahead and share my screen with all y'all. Here's how this riot works. It will be a counting riot, so no objects required. What will happen is you will see a screen full of skulls. The skulls, however, will be, let's say, tricky to see. There are a certain number of skulls in this image. This is an example. If you think you know how many skulls are in this image, you can say it out loud. For example, I think there are 7 skulls in this image. I would say 7 out loud as I can. And if I'm the first one to say it, then that is the official guess. Then we count how many skulls there are. In this picture, there are indeed 7 skulls. Some are really tricky to see.
Some of them are like, I cannot see anything here. That is impossible to see. So they make it sound scary.
If you are correct, you are safe and you are in the final 9. If you are wrong,
Move
you
up.
are eradicated. So do not guess unless you know how many skulls are in the image. Do I make myself clear that if you guess incorrectly, you're out? Here we go. This ride starts now.
So, like I said in the past episodes, I didn't do that much preparation. I watched 2 episodes about an hour before, or about like 40 minutes before we started. I watched 2 episodes of the 2nd season. In one of the episodes, I believe, I want to make sure, actually, let me check something. I don't need to check it, but in one of the episodes, it was a riot similar to this, where everybody went in, everyone participated. But what happened is that the person that went first, who put their neck out the line, like, there is that sense of like wanting to put your neck, or not put your neck out of line, but like you go in first and you're done. If you're right, you're just safe, and everyone else is in the hot seat. But what happened is that the first person that went in lost. So then all the other people, all 9 others, had to do nothing, and they just survived. So they sat back. So my strategy going into this is like, I saw what happened. There is not a chance in hell that I say anything first. I know that it's way too risky. Why would I put myself out like that when I could just sit back and do nothing and let somebody else do it and let them risk it? And if they're wrong, they go home first, and I survive the riot by doing nothing. It all makes sense to just not do anything. And I think everyone else is feeling that way too, because no one says a thing.
We will
Did that
stay
not
here
pick up?
forever.
I said a number, I'm sorry.
But then for some reason I decide, screw it. Forget everything I just said, let me say a number. Now, there is a little more to this than just me saying a number. I don't even know if they showed the entire thing. This went on for like 45 seconds. Nobody said a thing. So it was a while, and it gives you a lot of time to really inspect and see how many skulls there are. Secondly, at around this point in the game, remember, I've never done an org before, but I just got like this overwhelming sense of like dread and like nervousness and kind of just like wanting to back out. Like not really, like I wasn't like, oh, I want to quit, but I just had this like sense of like, oh, like, do I really want to do this? Like, I don't know why it happened. I think it was just like seeing Maxima go, and I was like, oh, like that very easily could have been me. Like, this is very stressful. It was like very fleeting, and I think it was just like first time nerves. But I had been feeling that like 2 minutes beforehand. So in a sense, at this point, I was like, oh, just go for it. Like, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, nobody else is going for it. It's been 45 seconds. I think I know what the answer is. So let me like risk it. Just go for it. What do you have to lose? If I'm already feeling like a little uneasy, why not take the opportunity? If I'm right, I'm the first person that's right. I look like the person with the, I'm not scared. Everyone else is scared. Why not just be the person? Granted, I very well could have been wrong. That example question was extremely difficult. But it was kind of just like a fleeting moment of like, I guess I don't care. Let me just go for it. But I should not, like, I don't recommend going first. I seriously don't.
What is your number, Ethan?
I said 5.
Ethan says 5. Time to count the skulls. There are 5 skulls in this image. Congratulations, Ethan. You are in the final.
Oh my god, I told myself I wasn't gonna say a number.
As soon as I said a number and got it right, that feeling went away. Like, it was very brief. And like once I got that thrill of like winning it, like technically I don't know how it works, but technically I think it counts that I won the 10-person riot because I was the first person safe. And like having that feeling like brought me back where it's like, yeah, like I'm here to play, like this is fun. But that moment of just like nervousness and like the nerves of it being my first time pushed me to answer first. But again, I don't recommend answering first. Just sit back and let somebody else answer wrong, at least for the first round. Am I glad that I did it? Yeah, because I was safe first, duh. But I still wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that was all. I felt that's not all of the episode, obviously, but that was, I didn't even know if I was going to say that because I don't want to sound like, oh, I couldn't handle it. It was just a little bit of nervousness, but it helped me in the end.
I think a lot of people were thinking 5, but were too scared to speak up. So your bravery got you in final 9. Congratulations. Here comes the next one.
But yeah, I'm safe. I make it to the next episode. Whew. Now we can just watch everybody else. And they get harder. Like, look at this. This is so much harder than what mine was. I like myself a little smaller.
Go big or go home. 12.
BC says 12. Here's how many skulls there are in this image. There are 12 skulls in this image. BC, you are in final 9. Here is your next image.
$26.
Noah says 26. There are 26 skulls in this image. Noah, you are in the final 9. We are down to 7 competitors. Here is your next image.
So seeing all of these ones and seeing how much harder, like mine was 5. Then the next one was 12 and then 26. Like these are getting a lot harder. And you start seeing people kind of feeling the pressure a little bit where it's like people are answering a lot faster now. And I was beyond thankful that I was not in needing to do this. Although I keep saying I don't recommend going first because I don't, there was a gigantic sense of relief after you're the first one. And you're like, I was the only one that was willing to say a number there. And it paid off.
What?
10.
Monte came in first with 10. Here are the skulls.
Oh, just beat chess.
There are 10 skulls in this image. Dante, you are in the final 9. Down to 6. Here's your next image.
This is a ridiculous one.
8.
Taylor came in first with 8.
Wait, hold on.
Taylor came...
8.
It definitely sounds like somebody says that before Taylor.
Taylor came in first with 8.
Not that it matters.
There are 8 skulls in that image. Taylor, you are safe. 5 left. Here's your next image.
Whoa.
16.
Who was that? I missed that.
Modern.
Okay, yeah, I just recognized your voice. Modern says 16. Here's how many skulls there are. There are 16 skulls. I, tee-hee-hee, did not expect to run out of props for skulls. So, whoever is left, we're moving on to the can riot. Let's go. Get out your 4 cans. That should be Hana, Hudson, Jess, Miles. In this competition, you will have to take 1 empty can and balance it on your 3 fingers. I do not have my pinky supporting it. I do not have my thumb supporting it. I'm using my 3 fingers underneath the can to support it. This is an endurance challenge, so if your cans drop at any point, you are eradicated. First one to drop is out. This is also a stacking competition, so you have to take each can sequentially and put one on top of the other. It will be a live transition, meaning if you drop during the transition, you are eradicated. You have, between Hana, Miles, Jess, and Hudson, 10 seconds to get your first can up on your 3 fingers.
So I think it's pretty obvious. I am definitely rooting for Miles or Jess to win this. And Hana, because Hana was somebody that I wanted in my future brigade. I wanted to go with Jess, work with Hana and Taylor, and build that up, and bring in Miles and Noah. So at this point, it is very clear out of the 4 people playing. Let me move down so you can see everybody. I want Hudson out by far because I have working aspirations with the other 3 players.
It's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This challenge is on. Because there's nothing in the cans, it's very easy for a little twitch to just let it go. Miles seems to be struggling a little bit with the twitch, but he seems to be recovered. In order to, speed up this competition a little bit, we are going to do our first live transition. It could end right here. If you drop your can during this transition, you're out. Hana struggling. Hana's wiggling around. Hana's still fine. We're going to start the live transition. Grab a soda can and stack it on top of your other soda can. You have 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Everyone but Miles is there. 10, 9, 8. Just has dropped.
Absolutely, probably the worst outcome for me, especially because, like, as I've said many times in this episode, like, I was ready to jump and Jess was becoming my new number 1. So now this is back-to-back episodes where my number 1 leaves, which is awful. But the reason that Jess is the worst person to leave is because Jess was my connection to Hana and Taylor. With Jess leaving, I no longer have that connection. So not only am I losing my new number 1, I am losing potentially 2 other allies. I am much worse than when I started this episode. I saw the light. I had a new path to work to get me through the middle and into the end game, and then just like that, the light is diminished. And I am in a worse spot. I have yet again lost another number. And it sucked. This is the person that I literally just factioned with her. I was the only person to lose my faction pair this round. So these riot results have not been favorable for me in the slightest.
Hana, Hudson, Miles, you can let your cans down. You have survived this riot. Jess, no! No!
Oh, I hate that.
Great attempt. You looked super sturdy, but then that transition just got you. Do you have any last words for the cast?
It was really nice meeting you all. Kind of sucks that I'm out now, especially with these stupid cans, but I wish you all the best. Yeah, it was really fun playing.
Thank you so much, Jess, for playing. You can spectate, of course, but make sure you turn off your camera and microphone. You have been eradicated. Thank you so much for coming out here.
That's right.
All the way from Australia.
Thank God. First of all, the 26-year-old getting 26, let's go. Just gotta hope my people are safe.
VC was saying that we kicked him out of the group of 3, and that's a lie. So I have no problem calling him out on that because he just left. It was like we decided, and I'm sorry, we didn't say leave. So, don't scorn a black woman because she's gonna come back with some fire, baby.
I feel extremely alone in this game. Every person that I've talked to has backstabbed me, said no. Everyone else has friends, and I do not. So, Pogmo? I don't know.
I decided to give VC a chance and faction with him because I do think that he's very alone in this game, and it would be nice.
Oh my god, this wasn't how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree, VC. I'm losing everybody as well. Not to say that I was in a worse spot than VC. I still had a few friends. I still had a really good relationship with Miles and Noah. But my numbers are dwindling. And especially in that first group of 5, I've lost 2 of the people already in Maximo and Jess. It's still really early on, but it was at this point where I was like, I am having a hard time seeing where my road is. Before this, there were paths that I envisioned taking and being successful with, to get, you know, past round 4, round 5, round 6. But every round, more and more of these paths that I was envisioning were being crushed. They were disappearing because the players that I'm working with are dropping one after another. I really thought that I had something here. Jess going really is worst case scenario for this episode because she was the cornerstone to bringing in more numbers and introducing me in a natural way to more players that I could work with. Now I don't have that. Now I can only go to Hannah and Taylor and say, hey, like Jess wanted us all to work together, but now Jess is gone. Without having Jess there, that makes that so much harder. It's not a good spot to be in. But looking at the positives, I won the riot, so that's good. I am still not being targeted. Nobody is yet to say my name in a negative way as a threat, nor as someone that people would want to get out. I've been very under the radar. But there's a difference between being under the radar and doing nothing, and although I am not doing nothing, I'm having a lot harder of a time being able to successfully pull something off in the future because I just don't have the numbers now. It's one of the risks that lies with my initial strategy. I didn't want to jump around and make all of these visible connections because I didn't want to be seen as a threat. But because I'm not doing that, I'm not making a ton of connections. So when the people that I am making connections with go home, I'm left with very little. It's a risk and it's not paying off. So I'm in a little bit of a tricky spot. But only thing you can do is look ahead. I'm in top 9. And just hope that I can survive. Hope that the faction numbers, the mandates, keep being favorable towards me. But this is not... I am definitely on a downwards trajectory. I can't sit here and say that I am in a fantastic position by any means. I'm not in the worst position, but I have a tough road in front. And hopefully it gets easier, but you're just going to have to wait and find out for the next episode. Thank you for watching this reflection and reaction. It was definitely a bit longer than the last one, but there was a lot to go over. A lot more happened in this episode than the last one. So thank you, and I will see you for the next one.